It's Platt, and today we try a beer style that almost went extinct. That's next to Platt's Beer of the Week. The particular beer we have here today comes to us from Bad Beat Brewing. It's a Roggenbier. Now we'll talk about what a Roggenbier is a little bit later, but Bad Beat Brewing is another local Las Vegas brewing, and you can probably tell by the name Bad Beat that ties into gambling. A little backstory onto Bad Beat Brewing. It was founded in Henderson, Nevada in July of 2014 by a gentleman named Nathan Hall. Nathan had two loves, poker and brewing, and decided to put them together. The term Bad Beat is a poker term. It means you were way ahead in the hand and the other player drew their lucky card or wanted 2 or 3 cards they needed to hit to win the hand. You took a bad beat. A good example would be if you had set over set and he hit the last one of his cards to give him 4 of a kind to beat your trips, or they hit a gut shot on the river, hit their gut shot straight draw, what have you. Just someone puts a tough beat on you mathematically in a poker game. That's called a bad beat. Thus we have Bad Beat Brewing. Bad Beat, like I said, is a gambling term, and Nathan himself is quite the gambler, because to open this brewery he sold his house and cleared out his bank account to make this a go. So it's obvious he has a little bit of gamble to him. Don't know if he plays the World Series poker or not. I don't think I've ever seen him there, but like I said, I do know he is a poker player or whatever. So interesting theme, works well out here. Bad Beat is one of the breweries that's in the booze district of Henderson. A couple of videos ago I talked about how the city of Henderson, which is a suburb of Vegas, had zoned a special area for breweries. There's a distillery, a winery there, and it's called the Booze District, and Bad Beat is one of the breweries there. Bad Beat has a 10-barrel brewing system and a total 130 barrels of cellar capacity. They do a barrel program. Their tap room has 4 year-round beers and then 8 rotating beers. They generally come out with a different beer flavor every month. Also at their tap room they do have some of the other local brews. I'm pretty sure they have some of the other brews from the other Booze District breweries like Craft House and Atomic Ale Works, what have you. Their tap room has kind of stereotypical. A lot of tap rooms have a ton of games, Cards Against Humanity, Nintendo, shuffleboard's a big thing. Their tap room's open 7 days a week. They don't do food there per se. They'll have food trucks and you bring in food, but they don't have a kitchen per se. Probably a cost-saving thing right there too. That's a big expense up front. And Vegas has enough food trucks and things that come around that they have generally no issue there having food available for guests. They also do Thursday night trivia night. That's one of their big things. Right now, Bad Beat is just distributed here in Nevada and generally more focused here locally. But if you come out and make it to some of the beer bars on the Strip or wherever, you will find Bad Beat in some of the casinos here. So it's something. Give it a try while you're in town. Again, I've been promoting the local breweries the last couple weeks. So, well, before we try this Roggenbier, though, let's check out the stats. All right, well, like I said, the particular beer we're trying from Bad Beat is what's called a Roggenbier. Some people call it a Roggenbier, but it's a Roggenbier. Best way to describe it is think Hefeweizen, but instead of wheat, they've added rye. Color-wise, this beer will look a little more like a Dunkelweiss than a regular Hefeweizen. It'll have a slightly darker color, but doesn't have all those dark malts that you would in Dunkelweizen. The beer itself, because it's more rye in there. Again, it's a designed to be kind of a wheat style beer, but with rye instead. You're going to get a lot more spicy notes to it. It's going to come off somewhat cloudy, but not as cloudy as a regular Hefeweizen does sometimes. But just you have more spice, a little sour note to it. It's going to be a different beer. Like I said, use the Hefeweizen as a guide, but it's going to be a little different. Because of the rye in it, it kind of disappeared as a beer style in Germany, because after the purity law, the Reinheitsgebot, just said barley, hops, water, and later on yeast. Those are the only things that could be in beer. So they didn't allow for the addition of rye. So the Roggenbier style basically disappeared from us. Now there are other people making rye beers around the world, but in Germany, the Roggenbier style had pretty much dissipated and didn't really come back until the 80s, when some German brewers, were looking for some different, found some older recipes, wanted to bring back some of these styles that got eliminated because of things like the Reinheitsgebot. And it wasn't until probably 10 years ago or so here in the U.S. before anybody really started making Roggenbier. So it was a lost style for a while, but now it's making a little comeback, and I think it's an interesting style because rye is something that doesn't get played with a lot in brewing. It's more, in the spirit world, especially, distilling rye whiskeys or in bourbons or wherever it's an important player, but you don't see it used a ton in brewing. So kind of interested in giving this a try, so that's what we'll do. Alright, now we got a pretty good head, but I poured aggressively. Color-wise, it's a dark copper. Definitely darker than your average Hefeweizen. The head has a light khaki on the nose. Get a little bit of the malt get a little malt nose like a Dunkel. Dunkel-wise, let's give her a try. Well, that's nice. That is, it's approachable. It's drinkable, like what you would think of a Hefeweizen. I'm getting more dark malt notes. The spice is there, but not much. Yeah, just done real well in the classic kind of, very, to me, German beers are very drinkable beers, are very approachable because, again, they're kind of simplistic because of the Reinheitsgebot. And so stylistically, even though because of the addition of Rhine, it doesn't fall in the Reinheitsgebot, it does kind of fall into the general trend of a lot of these German beers being drinkable lager style. Also, too, a lot of the German beers tend to be more subtle with the hops. And again, this is hopped in balance, but it's still kind of subtle. The finish is a medium minus. It's not a long finishing beer. There's enough malt and mouthfeel to where viscosity-wise or over mouthfeel, I'd give it a medium. But not a long finisher, but again, very nice, nice malt to it. Very drinkable beer. Definitely beer I think you could give your Miller Lite, Bud Light friends. It's something I always kind of bring up, trying to get people to try something different. It's definitely a something slightly out of their comfort zone, but I don't think too much. The rye is subtle, but it's there. It's enough of a difference. If you like Hefeweizens, I definitely would suggest this one, just again to kind of change things up. Unlike Hefeweizen, people like to throw lemon or orange in there. This beer does not need that. Even though I could see where, I guess with the maltiness, I guess the orange slice could go in here. I don't know about lemon, but I think orange slice could play in here a little bit, but you don't need it. I think the boys at Bad Beat have got a keeper. Now, I think this is, this is a limited release, but if they come out with it again, I'll definitely have me one. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to try, please leave me in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.